Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. And we're talking Jermall Charlo, we're talking Canelo Alvarez. Let's get into this one. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and very important, please do smash the like button. Let people know that when you're in the house that you're liking the video. Let me clear my throat. One of the things I've tried to keep away from in more recent years is talking about fighters that I really love, because I kind of find that when you start to talk about fighters that you really love, people start to get their impression or get that, that you can't have balance. So there are fighters that I like and I will talk about, but I will not highlight them, which I think you've noticed on the channel for a while. So I've made sure that that doesn't happen. Jermall Charlo has been one of those fighters that I have always liked. I have made no secret about that. I've always liked his style. I like the way he goes about his business. Can fight off the front foot, can fight off the back foot. Got good punching power. And he's got the sort of punching power, or he has shown previously, he's got a sort of one-punch knockout power to really turn the lights out on a fighter. And I've really enjoyed the way he goes about his business, like I've said. Got an element of savagery about him. Now, I'm actually alarmed to hear that Canelo has picked Charlo for his first defense of the undisputed title. I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I called it out to you about Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. I said, when Canelo's ready, you call those sheep in, or those lambs into pasture to get them slaughtered. You can add Caleb Plant to that list. What people fail to realize about Canelo, or that it's easily forgotten with all his success, is that how long he's been boxing and the sort of quality opposition he's been fighting. Just look and go down that list of fighters that Canelo has fought and the experience he's picked up along the way. When you look at Charlo's resume, you don't see those names. Well, of course you don't. He's younger. Well, of course you don't. Listen. And this is what I call the Canelo trap. Why would Canelo take Charlo? Well, let's put it this way. Should Canelo fight Charlo? Absolutely. Should Charlo fight Canelo? Hell no. And here's why I'm going to break it down to you. Before I break it down, let me just say good evening to people in the room. Make sure you smash the like button. Ruben Guerrero in the house. Really hope this gets made, he says. For those months ahead, hanging out at Canelo's ass for him to fight back-to-back PBC fighters would be class. I think he'll destroy Charlo now. The Canelo trap. This is how the Canelo trap works. First of all, you notice he's the undisputed super middleweight champion. He's not the middleweight champion, he's super middleweight champion. He's fought as high as light heavyweight, and his next fight against Makabu was going to be at cruiserweight. Yeah. He was fighting to unify and become undisputed champion. He is now undisputed champion. And then the level of what Charlo's been fighting at, and the regularity of what Charlo's been fighting. Look, this is how this goes. This is how the negotiation goes. Charlo is then Canelo will bring Charlo up in weight. So he'll move him up to super middleweight. First thing. What does Charlo fight like at super middleweight? Oh, he's big enough. He's a big guy. He can move up to super middleweight. But if you want move up to super middleweight to fight Benavidez and your Armin and Arin, why are you so fast to run up and go and fight Canelo at super middleweight? Why would you do that? That's the first thing. All for the money. The second thing, When has Charlo come close to fighting for an undisputed belt, or even come close to that sort of gate, that sort of money, that sort of attention, right? Charlo's named himself in his own little small pond, which is what I call it. You're moving from like fighting, or you're moving from being like in the goldfish world to fighting jaws, and that's the problem. You're moving from goldfish to jaws, and there's no in between. Charlo should have fought Gennady Golovkin. That would have been a nice, Gennady Golovkin, Chris Eubank Jr. Those are the fights I would be looking for Charlo to build his name, to build his brand, to get some good knockouts in his record, to beat some credible guys that people know the names of. I'd like to see that. And in about a year from now, he still remains unbeaten. Then he goes and fights Canelo, because then he's built his brand, he's become a better fighter, and he can negotiate more at the table and even get 1 or 2 fights at super middleweight. But no, it's the Canelo trap. Canelo's going to beat him in a negotiating table because he's the super middleweight champion of the world, undisputed, versus the WBC middleweight champion of the world. How much money do you bring in this situation? What's your resume compared to my resume? What do you bring to the table? Who's been your biggest fight? There's the Canelo trap there. Then you move him up in weight. I've never thought that Charlo should fight Canelo anytime remotely soon, because he's just not ready. He hasn't had the experience. No, not big fights. And when you fight from goldfish to these big fights, you get all the big fight atmosphere, you get all the media attention on you. And you have to be sort of mentally prepared and switched on from that. I told you, from goldfish to jaws, totally different situation. That's what you find a lot of these fighters, when it comes to these big fights, the bright lights, the really big bright lights. Not the bright lights of fighting someone like Matt Korobov. That there's Matt Korobov, and then there's fighting for the, fighting Kovalev or fighting Floyd Mayweather. Hall of Fame fighters. That's the problem I've got with the Charlo fight. Is his team ready for that next step up? So for me, he should have gone and fought a Golovkin. Charlo has no business being in the same route. He should go and fight Andrade. Fight Andrade. Clean up the middleweight division. And then step up to super middleweight. If I'm his manager, I say, thank you, Mr. Canelo. Really appreciate the opportunity. But at this point in time, Charlo's not available. What is the gain from Charlo fighting Canelo? Well, because he fought him. And then he gets smashed to bits. When you could, forget that you talk about marinating a fight, you could actually get a fighter fighting more decent fights. Nah, not for me. Not for me. And I'm saying that from a fan's perspective. I'm saying it from a business perspective. It makes no sense. For Canelo, it's like, let me get this guy now before he gets any better, because he could be a problem later on. Let me get this guy now, where he's still clowning around doing middleweight stuff. Let me get this guy now. So another thing is, when you're fighting at a certain level, you've got a certain mindset. You're invincible. You're unstoppable, but you ain't really fought the best out there. So you train a certain way. When you start to fight guys, and little Charlo or Jermall Charlo will understand now, having suffered a loss, and that Castano fast fight where he got rocked badly and was in a real dogfight. In fights like that, when you go back to gym, you realize that, you know what? I need to tighten up on my defense. Or if you got sense, you know what? I got roughed up. I need to come off them damn ropes. That sense of invincibility is gone. But at the same time, when you go back in the gym, you've got things to work on. You're more determined to work on those things because you don't want the same thing to happen again. For Jermall Charlo knocking guys out and really fighting within himself, I find that had he fought a guy that gave him some real problems, he would develop and become an even better fighter, I think. But you haven't faced that. So you haven't had the need to it. So you can still clown around and say, yeah, I'll beat them guys, I'll do this. All that is talk. That's all talk. Because when you get in the ring and you fight some Canelo, them same punches that you may be knocking other guys over with, you're not catching them with them same shots. Them same shots that you're throwing, you're getting countered and you're getting hit hard. Them same shots, them same movements you're doing before and you jumping on and swarming guys, you'll get hit with a nice body shot. It's not the same situation. You're not able to land the same shots. You're not able to do the same things because you're now moving up to a different level. You're at another class. And what a time to find out that I'm not quite ready for Canelo when you're in there fighting for an undisputed title. No. It's the Canelo trap. Let Canelo fight anybody else. By me, I don't want to see him fight him. That's it. So, payday. You just want a payday. And that's what it is. Charlo doesn't need to take that payday. Doesn't need to take that payday. Do you think Charlo has shown some weaknesses for Canelo to be tempted of fight? Personally, I do not think Charlo has declined. It's a good time as any to fight Canelo. Well, the weakness is experience. While Canelo was quickly running through those guys, what was Charlo doing? When Canelo was fighting, 3 times a year, what was Charlo doing? Doing Instagram videos and all the rest of it. Listen, I like Charlo, but I'm a fan, but I'm not a fanatic. Charlo's invincible. As soon as he hits Canelo, he's going to go. No, stop all that nonsense talk. I'm keeping it realistic. He may beat Canelo. Because he's in the ring. He's got a chance. But the chances of him being better prepared against a seasoned fighter. Canelo has something that a lot of these fighters don't have today. He has experience fighting when he was much younger and fighting the best around. So I don't. And he's done. He's just what he's doing now is the Floyd Mayweather thing, you know. And people say, "Oh, you're being harsh about Floyd." No, Floyd was a master tactician. So I see the tricks. It's not about Charlo being, and look at Charlo's age as well, and look at is this guy actually getting any better? But I'm surprised because I would have said, you know what? Don't go for Charlo, go for Benavidez, because Benavidez is younger. He's a young boy. I would have gone for the Benavidez fight because I don't rate Benavidez. He stands up straight. Them same punches he's throwing at C-level competition, you're getting dropped at C and B-level fighters. Canelo will tear him. He'll break his ribs. I'm telling you. Benavidez is talk, man. I keep telling you all that. Charlo's last performance was terrible. It all makes sense. Yeah, well, there you go right there. Canelo can't wait around for contemporaries to build resume before fighting them. Listen, Canelo can do what the hell he wants. He's in that position. Coach seeing through all Canelo's game. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course it's game. It's all game. And now if he puts it on him and says, you know what, I'll fight you in May. I will fight you in May. And Charlo goes, nah, I don't want that. Charlo didn't want that smoke. He got the opportunity to give him a Canelo. He didn't want that smoke. Yes, Smoking Joe. He'll never get another payday like this. Probably why. Sometimes management will look at a fight and go, how much more fights can we get out of this dude? Has this dude got a long career? Is this dude in the gym? Is he training as much as he should do? Is this contract coming to an end? How much money can we cash out? How much money can we get out on this guy? Guy thinks he's better than he actually is. You know what? Let's cash this guy out. I don't know, but it's happened before. I don't know about Herkovic and Yoka, but I'm picking Yoka to beat Herkovic. Canelo probably should have waited a bit before taking Floyd fight, but in long-term work for him. All right. So you see that there. Floyd saw Canelo for, you know what? Let me take this guy early. He's inexperienced. His team is inexperienced. Let me take advantage of it now. So Floyd knew exactly what he was doing. And now Canelo's going to try and do that same stuff. You can be young as a fighter, and you can look at a guy's team and go, nah, they ain't ready. They ain't ready for this kind of fight. So for me, I think Charlo should avoid this fight. Forget what the fans think. The fans don't fight. But Charlo does need to fight someone. And now that GGG was, I don't know what's going on with GGG, I would like to see if he can get a fight with Murata, or he can get a fight with GGG. That's what I'd like to see Charlo in there doing. I need to see him fighting some name now. I don't care if GGG's old. He still has a name. And it's that sort of fight he needs now. He needs a grade A opponent, and he needs to stop a grade A opponent. Andrade, no. Don't want to see that fight for him. Andrade himself is struggling to make a name for himself. Do you understand? Don't want to see that fight. So let Charlo fight a guy that's got some real name about him. But like even a Chris Eubank Jr. fight would be excellent. You know what I mean? But not Canelo. I think Canelo will stop him. Charlo sits on the ropes. Yeah, he does. And he soaks up a lot of punches and comes back. It's something I don't like about him. I really don't like it. It's exciting to watch. I don't like it. It's taking too many. And you could do that against certain opposition. You do that against Canelo, you might slip one of them nasty body shots in, and you're in trouble. So, again, I don't really like this fight for Charlo. Yeah, don't like it. So I hope that Saints prevails and the right thing is done by Charlo. And he says, thank you, Mr. Canelo, but no thank you. I've got another fight scheduled. Or make up some excuse and say, well, I had another fight scheduled beforehand, but you didn't know that. Or you knew I had a fight scheduled, but you were just trying to say that I was going to fight you first. That's what will happen. That's what you could say. Agreed, though. Charlo doesn't have a bridging fight for Canelo. GG would be the ideal next fight. I've said this before. My words keep coming back to me. I said this before about Charlo. I rate him highly, but he needs to fight better opposition. I expect a guy like him that when you raise the opposition, he'll fight better. But there's raising the opposition and there's taking the piss. And taking the piss is bringing Canelo into the equation. What are your thoughts on Charlo versus Castillo rematch for Undisputed? Make that fight happen. Charlo and my boy, what's his name? Oh, I've lost his name again. Derek James. Happy New Year, Derek. They will have to come up with an alternative game plan and say, you know what? What happened the first time cannot and should not happen again. Yeah, they need to take that rematch. And this is where fighter and trainer need to show they can be adaptable for a rematch. So this fight kind of reminds me of when Floyd fought Maidana. And in the rematch, Floyd had to take a different approach. Can Charlo adapt his game plan and not just go out looking for big punches? Because Castano seems to be able to take a good shot and come back. Can you change your style? Can you be adaptable? Can you change your dimensions? Or are you going to come back and fight the same crap again? Because you'll get beat. You've got to do something different. I think Charlo gets in this time. Yep, I think he does too. Something tells me Benavidez is a hype job. Benavidez is a hype job. You're getting dropped by what? C-level opposition? People you never heard. You're getting dropped by C-level opposition, yeah? That doesn't bode well for your chin, right? That's the first thing. And who are you fighting? How can you jump? How can you jump for fighting B-level opposition or even C-level opposition to fight Canelo? No, come on. Stop it. What fight has Benavidez had where people say, yeah, that fight right there, that's the fight that gives me confidence that Benavidez is ready for Charlo? Come on. Ready for Canelo. If Charlo hasn't shown me a fight yet that he's ready for Canelo, God only knows for Benavidez. Well, Jacobs still be, oh my God. Only you would mention Danny Jacobs. Flip's sake, I don't know about Danny Jacobs. Moving on. It's crazy, LOL. They're just feeding guys to, they're feeding to Canelo. They feed, and they keep falling for the Canelo trap. Look at the man's resume. You can't knock the resume. Oh, well, you can. If you're foolish enough to just step in the ring and say, well, he fought Floyd, he got beat by Floyd, and, he's fought all the guys. Guys had experience. Charlo versus Benavidez for right to fight Canelo. No, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Who's Benavidez fought and beat? And Charlo, with all due respect, if he beats Benavidez, what does that prove? How can Benavidez be the fight for the right? Charlo versus GGG, Benavidez versus GGG. Yeah, give me those fights, and then you can fight Charlo at super middleweight, Canelo at super middleweight. Yeah, those fights. But come on, Charlo versus Benavidez? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. I didn't want to go too much into this video because I don't think there's much more for me to talk about. But yeah. If you have any particular topics you want me to talk about or talk about, let me know. Put that in the comment section as and when. All right. Benavidez's best win was just dominated by a green Olympian. Well, that's it. That is a great closing statement in itself. So, thank you all, as always, for watching BWTM Sports. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments as always. All these sheep waiting around getting fat for Canelo could have spent time fighting decent names. Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way in or on your way out. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and thank you for the love. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming, and we're out. Take care.